What if I told you the highest paid man in television didn't spend a single cent of his salary for 30 years? While the world saw Jay Leno under these bright lights, he was quietly following a secret rule in this garage that most millionaires are too afraid to try. To understand the sheer scale of this financial discipline, you have to realize that at the peak of his television career, Jay Leno was pulling in an astronomical $30 million a year from NBC to host The Tonight Show. For over 2 decades, he was the undisputed king of late-night television, drawing in millions of loyal viewers every single night. In the entertainment industry, that kind of wealth almost always triggers a predictable sequence of events. You buy a mega mansion in Beverly Hills, hire an army of assistants, purchase a private jet, and immediately inflate your lifestyle to match your massive new paycheck. We have seen this tragic movie play out countless times with actors, musicians, and professional athletes who make hundreds of millions of dollars, only to end up completely broke just a few years after the spotlight fades. But Jay Leno did something that seemed completely insane to his Hollywood peers. He took every single paycheck from NBC, representing hundreds of millions of dollars over his late-night television run, and deposited them directly into his bank accounts without spending a single dollar of the principal. This level of self-control is incredibly rare, especially in today's world of hyperconsumption. We live in an era dominated by social media flexing, where the instant response to making more money is to spend more money. This financial trap is known as lifestyle inflation, and it is the primary reason why even high-earning professionals like doctors, lawyers, and corporate executives often find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. When your expenses rise in perfect tandem with your income, you are never truly wealthy. You are simply running faster on a treadmill that never stops. Jay Leno recognized this trap early on, and his unique defense mechanism was forged in the fires of his working-class upbringing. Growing up in a modest household in Andover, Massachusetts, Leno was far from a trust fund baby. He started his working life flipping burgers at a local McDonald's and eventually found work at a Ford car dealership. In those early lean years, he quickly developed a profound sense of financial paranoia. He realized that in the creative world, talent is cheap, fame is fleeting, and the industry can discard you in an instant. He looked around and saw brilliant comedians who were wealthy one year and completely broke the next. This fear did not paralyze him. Instead, it drove him to establish a rigid financial blueprint that would govern his life for the next half-century. But here is the absolute mind-bending twist that most people completely miss about this strategy. If Leno saved every single penny of his Tonight Show salary, how on earth did he buy one of the most expensive and legendary car collections in human history, worth over $150 million? How do you amass a warehouse of rare Duesenbergs, McLarens, and steam-powered vehicles without spending a dime of your main paycheck? The answer lies in a financial loophole that is so counterintuitive it sounds like a magic trick. And once you understand how he did it, you will realize you can use this exact same loop to fund your own dreams without risking your financial future. The secret behind his massive collection of exotic cars and his pristine financial sheet is that Leno did not just hoard cash under a mattress. Instead, he weaponized the compound interest generated by his untouched television salary, while using his relentless stand-up comedy schedule to fund his daily life and his automotive passions. Even while hosting 5 nights a week on NBC, a grueling schedule that would exhaust any normal human being, Leno performed over 150 stand-up comedy shows a year. Think about the sheer physical demands of that lifestyle. He would tape The Tonight Show in Burbank, immediately jump on a private or commercial plane, perform a high-paying gig in Las Vegas, Chicago, or New York, and fly back to Los Angeles to host the show the next afternoon. He treated his life as a business with multiple independent divisions. His television show was his primary corporation, generating massive capital that was immediately locked away in secure, long-term investments. His stand-up comedy was his secondary business, generating the liquid cash needed to pay his mortgage, pay his taxes, buy his groceries, and buy his beloved cars. By treating his stand-up income as his only spending money, he forced a natural ceiling on his lifestyle. He could only buy a new car or invest in a new venture if his stand-up comedy gigs paid for it. This meant his core wealth, the massive hundreds of millions of dollars from NBC, remained completely insulated from any market downturns, bad investments, or lifestyle creep. This concept of labor diversification is a powerful tool that contrasts sharply with traditional financial advice. Most financial advisors preach the gospel of asset diversification, telling you to spread your money across stocks, bonds, real estate, and mutual funds. While that is excellent advice, they completely ignore the source of that money, which is your labor. If you only have one source of income, you are incredibly vulnerable. If you lose your job, your entire financial ecosystem collapses. Leno realized that by diversifying his labor, by having two completely independent careers operating at the same time, he created an unbreakable safety net. If NBC decided to fire him tomorrow, he would not care, because his stand-up career was still generating millions of dollars a year. If the live comedy market collapsed, he still had his television contract. This dual-engine strategy allowed him to negotiate from a position of absolute power. When NBC executives tried to cut his salary to save production staff jobs later in his career, Leno easily agreed to a 50% pay cut because he simply did not need the money to survive. He was entirely self-sufficient, funded by his comedy gigs. So, how can a regular person apply this 30-year rule to their own life without being a multi-million-dollar television star? The blueprint is surprisingly simple and highly actionable. It begins by shifting your mindset from a single-income employee to a multi-stream enterprise. Step 1 is to establish your survival baseline. Look at your monthly expenses and identify the absolute minimum amount of money you need to cover your rent, mortgage, groceries, utilities, and basic transportation. This survival baseline must be covered entirely by your primary, most stable source of income. Step 2 is to construct your secondary income stream, your side hustle. This could be freelance writing, graphic design, consulting, driving for a rideshare service, selling items online, or teaching a skill. Crucially, the size of this secondary income stream does not matter in the beginning. What matters is the psychological boundary you build around it. Step 3 is the lockbox rule. You must make an unbreakable commitment that every single dollar earned from your secondary stream is treated as ghost money. It does not exist to be spent on dinners, clothes, or vacations. It goes directly into a dedicated, automated investment account. If you make $500 a month from a side hustle, that $500 is immediately routed into low-cost index funds or high-yield savings. Over time, as your skills grow, this secondary stream will expand. The natural temptation will be to reward yourself by upgrading your apartment or buying a nicer car. You must resist this urge at all costs. By keeping your living expenses locked to your primary income baseline, you allow your secondary income stream to compound rapidly, creating a massive financial snowball. Let us look at a real-world case study to see how this plays out mathematically. Imagine an average corporate employee making $60,000 a year. They manage to live comfortably on the salary, covering all their expenses and saving a modest amount. Suddenly, they receive a promotion or secure a new job that pays $80,000 a year. This is a $20,000 increase in annual income. The vast majority of people will immediately upgrade their lifestyle. They will sign a lease on a more expensive apartment, start eating at nicer restaurants, and buy a new car with a hefty monthly payment. Within 6 months, their expenses have risen to match their new $80,000 salary, and they are just as stressed about money as they were before the promotion. This is classic lifestyle creep. Now, let us apply Jay Leno's rule. Instead of spending that extra $20,000, this employee treats it as a completely separate, untouchable income stream. They continue to live exactly as if they are still making $60,000. They take that extra $20,000, which is roughly $1,600 a month pre-tax, and automatically route it into an investment portfolio yielding an average annual return of 8%. If they maintain this discipline for 20 years, that saved promotion money alone will grow into over $800,000. If they keep it up for 30 years, it swells to over $1.5 million. By simply refusing to inflate their lifestyle to match their rising income, they have bought their ultimate financial freedom. Contrast this disciplined approach with the legendary financial disasters of other high-profile celebrities. Consider the story of legendary boxer Mike Tyson, who earned over $400 million during his historic career, only to file for bankruptcy with tens of millions of dollars in debt. Or think about Hollywood actor Nicolas Cage, who made over $150 million, but faced immense financial ruin because of his unchecked obsession with buying rare artifacts, castles, and private islands. These individuals were undisputed masters of generating income, but they were completely illiterate when it came to managing it. They fell victim to the illusion that because the money is coming in fast today, it will continue to come in fast forever. They had a single, massive engine of wealth, and they anchored their entire lifestyle to its maximum output. When the engine stalled, the entire structure collapsed. Jay Leno, with his blue-collar work ethic and deep financial paranoia, understood that wealth is not about how much money you make. It is about how much money you keep and how effectively you isolate your living expenses from your maximum earning potential. By adopting Jay Leno's secret 30-year rule, you are doing far more than just building a healthy bank account. You are buying the most valuable commodity on earth, absolute personal sovereignty. When you live off the smaller of two incomes and save the rest, you are never at the mercy of a bad boss, a terrible job, or an economic downturn. You have the ultimate luxury of being able to say no to opportunities that do not align with your values, because you are never running on the financial edge. Jay Leno did not spend his life working to pay off debts. He worked because he genuinely loved the craft of comedy, and his financial discipline gave him the freedom to pursue that passion on his own terms. The next time you find yourself tempted to upgrade your lifestyle after a raise, a bonus, or a successful side hustle, remember the man in the blue denim shirt standing in his garage full of priceless cars. Remember that he bought those cars not with his main television salary, but with the discipline of living below his means and honoring the simple, unbreakable rule of two incomes. If you want to build true, lasting wealth that stands the test of time, you must have the courage to stop playing the game of social comparison, lock away your largest income stream, and let the power of compounding do the heavy lifting. This financial paradigm is the key that unlocks the door to a life of abundance, security, and true independence. If you are ready to take control of your financial destiny and discover the exact wealth-building strategies that the ultra-successful use to compound their fortunes, click on the video on your screen right now. We dive deep into the specific investing frameworks and high-yield habits that can help you turn your side hustle into a massive wealth engine. I will see you there.